I cannot think of a single reason why I waited so far into my lifetime to read the Neverending Story. If you're just joining us, I'm attempting to consume as much 80s dark fantasy as I possibly can. And I just finished reading the Neverending Story last night, and oh my god, wow. Now just a fair warning, I am going to drop some spoilers, but the book has been out since 1979, the movie almost as long, so deal with it. If you're not familiar, this is the story of Bastian, a young man who steals a book called The Neverending Story and then goes to read it in his school's attic. That book is about a world called Fantastica where a childlike empress has fallen ill and needs someone to find her a cure. A young warrior named Atreyu is enlisted to go on a journey to find that cure. And this book flashes back and forth between Bastian reading the story and Atreyu going on his journey. That is until Bastian becomes aware of the fact that the characters in the story are aware of him reading the story. It's incredibly meta. Now, I have not seen The Neverending Story, the movie, since I was a little kid. But even so, there are scenes from that movie that are ingrained in my brain, and all of them are in this book. The first half of this book, that is. Because the movie only covers about the first 50% of the book, up to the point that Bastian is essentially sucked into the world of Fantastica. From that point, Bastian goes on his own journey in Fantastica and ends up becoming almost a villain of that world. And we follow his story as he essentially has to find his own self-worth in order to save both himself and this world. The result is a book that truly does feel like two stories wrapped into one incredibly big story. The creativity on display in this book is mind-boggling. Every creature, every place, every character, every chapter feels so imaginative. And weirdly, that is what makes it feel so quintessentially 80s. I also really appreciate that this book is not afraid to go dark. For a book that I think is considered middle grade, there are a lot of really upsetting moments. Some that are very scary and some that are heartbreaking. The horse in the mud? Are you kidding me? And this shouldn't come as a surprise, but this book really does feel like a love letter to books and storytelling in general. Because not only does Bastian as a character love books, but in Fantastica we often see the incredible power of stories. Now I will say there is some language that has not aged very well, so consider that if you're going to read this one. But there are also moments where the book feels incredibly ahead of its time and feels very relevant to today. When it comes to controlling human beings, there is no better instrument than lies. Because you see, humans live by belief, and beliefs can be manipulated. The power to manipulate beliefs is the only thing that counts. And that is just one of many very poignant lines in this book. All that to say, The Neverending Story was fantastic. I'm so glad I read it. I'm also planning to watch the movie. It'll be my first time watching it as an adult, and I plan to do a comparison of the two. But in the meantime, I think the next book I'm gonna read is either gonna be Dragonlance or Magic's Pawn. I got this used, as you could tell. This book has seen some things. Have you read The Neverending Story? What were your thoughts? Did you like the book or the movie more? Let me know in the comments.